Good day, students. Okay, we're going to continue our study of percent increase and decrease. And we're going to start with a question that I've used a lot in the past. And as it says in the title, it's a tricky question. Try it, but be careful. Jeff invested $4,000 in shares at the start of 2011. In 2011, they rose by 50%. In 2012, they again rose by 50%. What were they worth at the end of 2012? Okay, what I'm going to do is ask you to stop the video and try that on your own, and then restart it and see how you went. Now, just one warning or one little hint, it does say a tricky question at the top, so think about it before you start. Okay, stop the video, please, and have a go, and let's see how you went on it. Okay, let's see if you figured out what the trick was in the question. Now, here's what a lot of students do when they come across this question. They say, well, if it went up by 50% in 2011 and went up again by 50% in 2012, therefore it's gone up by 100%, and 100% of 4,000 is 4,000, and therefore the value of the shares after 2 years must be $8,000. And it turns out that that is not correct. So let's actually do it in 2 steps and find out what the correct answer actually is. So to start with, the shares went up by 50% in the first year. So we can say part equals percent times whole. We're looking for the part. The percent is 50% or 0.5 or 1/2 times 4,000, and therefore the shares rose by $2,000 at the end of the first year. Now that, of course, is the increase, so the new amount is the original $4,000 plus the $2,000 increase, and after 1 year, the shares are now worth $6,000. Okay, now what happens in the second year? Well, once again, they go up by 50%, but here's the trick. They go up by 50% of what the shares are now worth. So now we have to work out what the shares are worth after 1 year. I'm going to do this one in one step. So the original amount, which in this case is the $6,000, is 100%. They're going up by 50%, and therefore the part is 150% of $6,000. Okay, that means we turn that into a decimal. We multiply part equals percent times whole, and 1.5 times 6,000 is 9,000. So the cost of the shares now after 2 years is $9,000. So what makes it a bit tricky is you can't just add the 2% because that 50% is based on the original amount, but that 50%, the second 50%, is based on the new amount, which was $6,000. So pretty much if you have questions like this, where you have a percent increase followed by a percent increase, you can't add the percents. You have to pretty much do it as 2 steps. Okay, now this is a really, really useful question because it's going to bring into play a very, very important concept. So let's read the question. Sally bought a house for $400,000. She later sold it for $500,000. What was the percent increase on the house price? So a lot of students, most students will realize that this is the original amount or the whole amount, but they want to use this for the part because that's the other number in the question. But if you read the question carefully, what we're looking for is the percent increase. So we have to actually do an extra step in questions like this, which is to first find the increase. So the increase, well, if it started off at 400,000 and grew to 500,000, to find out the increase, we need to subtract. And the increase is $100,000. Okay, now here's something that is worth doing in questions like this. Rather than just writing percent equals, write percent increase. And rather than writing the word part on the top of the fraction, because that part could be the 500,000 or it could be the 100,000, depending on the question. Oops, I'm going to get rid of that. And what I'm going to write up here is which of those it actually is. So the part in this case that we want to know is the increase over the whole. And here's the important lesson from this exercise. Okay, we're looking for a percent increase. If we're looking for a percent increase, the numerator has to be the increase and not the new amount. And that equals $100,000 over $400,000. Let's see, I need one more zero. We can simplify by knocking off some zeros. And we end up with just a quarter. And of course, a quarter is 25%. So the increase in this case was 25%. Okay, stop the video now, please, and have a go at the second question on your own. And having done that, then restart the video and check your answer. Okay, welcome back. Well, let's work out what the percent increase in this case was. So he bought it for $2,000, sold it for $2,600. Again, the question is, what is the percent increase? So I'm going to start again by finding the increase, which is found by subtracting 2,600, take 2,000. So the increase in this case is $600. And once again, don't just write the word percent. To be really clear as to what we're looking for, write percent increase. And that's going to be the increase, that's the part, divided by the whole amount. And that gives us 600 over, of course, down here has to be the original amount because Ben's trying to work out what percent gain he made on his investment, which was $2,000. Once again, I can knock off a few zeros. 6 over 20 simplifies down to 3/10, and 3/10 as a percent is 30%. Okay, so there's a couple of useful little questions. And the big lesson from this one is, first off, we can't just use the numbers in the question. We'll have to look at the question that's being asked, which is what is the percent increase, and start by finding the increase. And then when we're writing our formula, I'd actually write percent increase rather than just percent equals the increase over the whole. And if you do that, you'll find out that some of the more complicated questions coming up actually become quite easy. Okay, thanks very much.